You don't hate your life, you hate the way that you've been living it, but you can take 9 intentional minutes and try to change that today. Let's get into it. My name is Casey and I have been a therapist for more than 13 years, and I know 3 specific things that you could do and not end up needing therapy at all. Before we go further, please like, share, and subscribe. I would love to earn your support. Let's look into the ways that you can save yourself therapy and enjoy your life today. The reason I'm making this video is because Dan Coe, a productivity author on X, wrote an article titled How to Change Your Entire Life in One Day, and it has 173 million views. He focuses very much on mindset. I'm going to focus very much on a few simple mental health tips that they will change your life if you're able to do them, and they will help you to avoid therapy if you're able to do them. Let's get into it. The first one's going to be very practical and very real. Let's be honest. If someone holds your attention, they hold your future. And there is a little FAP box that's in your pocket at all times that it has been controlling your attention and therefore controlling your future. Now, this is quite obviously not going to be complex, and it is going to be challenging. What I'm asking you to do first is fast from your phone. Now, for most of us, that would be an extremely tall order to do in an entire day or even multiple hours in a day. But what I would ask you to do first is fast from your phone during times that would make the most sense if you were trying to maximize your enjoyment in the tangible universe you live in. That could take place during dinner times, or an extremely good time is right before bed so that you could read or do other things. Start in 15-minute increments. May I be able to fast from my phone for the time while we're sitting down to eat, or the time when I'm taking a jog, and just do it in silence. This is an increasingly difficult ask for someone to put their phone down, but it is going to be extremely important now because technologies are becoming more immersive. Video games and other online AI-oriented spaces are becoming better and better at what they do, and so the immersive universes that we can check into will allow us a complete and utter disconnection from the actual universe, the actual tangible world. And so the first one that I'm quite simply asking you to do is fast from your phone. If I have young men or young women that are coming into my office after having experienced anxiety and depression symptoms for multiple months, this is one of the very first and very simplest ways that if they do it, they will markedly increase their enjoyment, their feelings of well-being, really, because you might not enjoy the universe that is actually real and tangible to you right away, but your ability to understand and to connect with reality necessitates that we are actually living in the space we're in, where your feet are at. And so the first piece of advice I have is disconnect from your phone. Fast at first, and then lengthen that fast to stretch out even beyond the entirety of the evening if you can. Those types of evenings are the ones where memories are built, even if you don't find yourself in the midst of family or other relationships as of yet. The second hack to fixing your life in 9 minutes or less is this question. If your life fell apart tomorrow, who would knock on your door? Who would you be able to call upon? And if the answer is virtually no one, or even maybe you're completely isolated, the second tip is going to be obvious. We need to spend scheduled time with friends every week, or with family every week, preferably both, that are in person and have our best interest in mind. So my best friend and I, Jake, shout out, he probably won't watch this, but we about 10 years ago saw that he was absolutely destroying himself physically and mentally by trying to work on a rehab property that they had too persistently. He was too diligent. He was spending too much of his time, and he was wearing himself so thin that even as a young man, he desperately needed a timeout. And so as our best friends, my wife and her wife are best friends, he and I are best friends, as we recognized his need. We decided to do a scheduled time for a game night every week, and this was before any of us had children. Now, between the two families, there are 8 children, and even throughout all that time, all the pregnancies, all the births, all the difficult sicknesses and other struggles that both of us have experienced since that time, we have managed to get together very nearly every week for 10 years straight. And I quite frankly don't know where I would be without those relationships, without their feedback, and even just without the time of being able to recognize that someone else thinks like you do, they have your back, and they have your best interests in mind. But as we begin to grow in the closeness in those friendships, they will even be able to challenge us, tell us when they think that we're messing up, and give us instruction on the times when we think we're wrong. It might even offer an opportunity for us to confess to one another. And as you do it in couples, you have the opportunity to possibly even have that third-party credibility or communicate in ways to your spouse that you might not have been able to do without another person present. You can see the pattern here. I am giving you the opportunity to take the therapist out of your life and transpose in real-world friendships, real-world times where you reflect, and real-world times where you decline to have worsening mental health. So the second tip is spend time with friends every week, and also it would be wonderful if you had a scheduled time with family members and extended family every week, because if and when you have a crisis, or if and when the country devolves into civil war or civil unrest, you need to know that the best flex that you can have are close friendships and close family members. So the second tip is spend time in person, scheduled every week, with people that are important to you.
Excellent. All points are covered. We're good to proceed.
The last tip that I can give today, and the way that you can absolutely close the loop on changing your life during the 9 minutes of this video, is start to have time in silence every day. If you're not training your mind, it will be training you. And here's the thing. We listen to music while we're running. We listen to podcasts while we're working. We are constantly consuming. And what ended up happening to us is we've not adapted to this stimulus-rich environment, and we are needing to detox constantly from the amount of information that we're taking in. And if you do not do any time in silence throughout the day, you will miss the opportunity to physically and mentally devolve your stress. And so what we must do, as men especially, is take time in silence. Einstein laid for 1 hour every day, and he just thought in silence. But we can't even find 10 minutes of silence. And here's what will end up happening. You will begin to recognize that there is a gremlin running between your ears, and you are persistently the audience of these thoughts that are running and overtaking you. As you begin to spend time in silence, you will begin to understand that you can actually be the author of those thoughts instead of the audience. It is obscene, but we oftentimes don't even take control and liberty over the one thing that is completely ours, which is our thinking. And we must begin to be the master of our thoughts. It is the only thing that is our complete liberty. And what I constantly have clients that struggle to tell me that this is just the way that they are. And if you're not standing in silence in your own thoughts, you might feel like you cannot control them. You might feel like you don't have a choice but to get angry quickly, or you don't have a choice but to play the victim in certain situations. And you can believe that lie if you're constantly having the gremlins run the machine. You are deferring to the security team what is an executive function. And what I mean by that is your amygdala, the threat detection fight or flight system, is constantly the one that you are allowing to operate the whole system. You hired an executive, your frontal lobe, in order to do that hard work, and yet you are giving it over to the Paul Blart mall cop of your life and of your brain. Spend time in silence, begin to recognize that you can control your thoughts, and take complete mastery. Become the author, not the audience, in your own mind. I've been a therapist and father of 4 for more than a decade, and I can tell you that I want you to avoid the therapeutic offices. I want you to not need me or any other therapist, because I've worked with a lot of therapists and a great many of them are incompetent ideologues. I want you to dodge this system, and that's why I believe that these 3 tips can help you. Just miss your therapist. But here's a couple bonus tips on the back end. And as you begin to spend time in silence, as you begin to fast from your phone, you will have more room for these tasks. If you are not trying to master your muscles and begin to understand what your physical body is capable of, you are missing out on part of what it means to be a young man and even, yes, a young woman. You must begin to lift heavy things. We didn't used to have to pay memberships to do this, but now is a time where it is often hard to get. Please lift heavy things. You can buy $20 worth of weights from Walmart and get started. No excuses. Also, if we are not reading physical books or listening to physical books, listening to audiobooks, we are doing ourselves a disservice. All of the information that our forebears and our forefathers fought and strived in order to give us is all available within our fingertips, and instead of deferring it to AI, who will do a poor summary of these great works, it is up to us to pick up a book and read it. And if you haven't read Marcus Aurelius' Meditations or the Bible or the Tao Te Ching even, you are missing out on the great wisdom of the ages. It's available right now at your fingertips, and you can get it sent to your door in 1 or 2 days. I really want these tips to help you. I pray that they do, and I really love all the support on this channel. I hope that you can miss your therapist, because most of us are incompetent ideologues. Have a great one.